Welcome to the Putnam County Library's Lunch and Learn. Our Lunch and Learn today is featuring Cliff Johnson, and he is going to talk to us about the harmonica. Thank you so much for being here today, Cliff, and you can take it away.
All right, Kathleen. This is a harmonica. You each have one. I brought a couple of extra in case somebody came that didn't have one. But you both have one. Harmonicas actually started about 5,000 years ago in China. And what happened was somebody blew on a simple reed and it vibrated. If you can take a blade of grass and hold it between your fingers like this and blow on it, you can get it to make a little noise. I know. So eventually, people forever have always liked music. Music is almost in everybody's DNA. And over the years, they graduated, and pretty soon they would have maybe 4 or 5 different little gourds with the reed in it that they would switch back and forth to blow. And then eventually around, see what was it, 1800? Yeah, around 1820. Are you familiar with the pitch pipe? Yeah. Somebody took a bunch of pitch pipes and stacked them together to make a harmonica with, but it was only blow only. And then in 1850, a little early 1800s, a fellow by the name of, let's see, Richter came up with the idea of making one of these. And then in 1850, Matthias Hohner did the first one like this. He was a clockmaker in Germany. And being a clockmaker, he knew how to do all the fine work required to make a harmonica. And he had a bunch of family members that were coming to America at the time. They were moving to here. So he gave a bunch of harmonicas to his relatives and had it brought to America. And when they got to America, they just caught on like wildfire because it's small, very, very small, inexpensive, easy to play. So it really caught on, and almost everybody would walk around carrying a harmonica in their pocket. This is called the diatonic harmonica, because blow in and suck in, and you get 2 different notes, diatonic, 2 tones. Let's see again. And in 2005, my wife died, and I took up later that year to help overcome the grief of losing my wife. I got more into music. I joined the ukulele group because I had played a little bit when I was very, very young. So eventually I joined a couple of groups. I joined the ukulele group, and the leader played the harmonica with, let's see. He would play the ukulele and harmonica at the same time with one of these neck braces. So I thought, well, that would be neat to learn how to do. And at the local junior college, they were having a class from a fellow by the name of Bud Gardner. And Bud had retired and went to a retirement community and needed something to do. So I thought, well, he said, well, I'll take a harmonica because my dad used to do it. And he said he learned 2 things from his dad. One was how to make the sound of a train, and the other one was how to make a harmonica talk. So the sound of a train is something like this. And just start out slow like an old train goes, and then just slowly go faster and faster. Then you can do a train whistle. Then the other thing his father would do would be to talk with the harmonica, have the harmonica talk. So, I want my baby. So you can make the harmonica talk. And there's different kinds of harmonicas. This is the diatonic. There's also one called a chromatic, which are more expensive. They cost about $200 and up. And they have a little lever on the side. So when you blow into it, and when you blow that, when you push that, it engages. It blocks one hole, it engages another hole, so that you get sharps and flats. You get a flat. With the harmonica, you do only the notes in that particular key, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. You can't, you can't basically do a sharp or a flat unless you bend a note. Have you heard of bending notes? Yeah. So you can do that. And so anyway, I took the class with Bud Gardner, and he was very technical. He named all the notes of the harmonica and gave a lot of music theory along with his class, which was good for me because I like music theory. Then after his class, I took another class from a fellow by the name of Dave Broda. And Dave was a blues harmonica player, a pro player, and he also taught at the same college. And his class, there was no musical instruction. It's just pick up the darn thing and play it. And play with feeling. So that's basically how I came across harmonica. Then one of the groups I played with, there was a fellow by the name of Curtis. It was a group called the Fruit Jar Pickers. And every Sunday they had a concert, every Sunday a free concert. And there was 10 or 12 of us in the group. And one of the players was Curtis, a harmonica player. And Curtis had, his right arm was about that big, and his left, and one of his legs was very, very small also. And in his lifetime, he'd been hit by a car 3 different times by vehicles. Now you're going to be unlucky enough to be hit by vehicles 3 times in your life, but he was. So he was always in a lot of pain and so forth. And he played the harmonica with a lot of feeling. Either if it was a happy tune, he would have a lot of happiness. If it was a blues tune or a sad tune, he would put a lot of his emotions into it. That was his way of expressing life and his life. And see, there's 10 holes in the harmonica, and harmonica come in different keys. I don't know if you know what a key is, but a key is like a home base for a song. And we have C harmonicas. So if you want to play with the group and they're playing the key of G or the key of D or the key of A, you can't play with them. I play in different groups, so I have this. I have A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and G. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 different harmonicas. Because I played with a group called the Big Band Sound. They have concerts at Dogwood Park. And I just started playing with them last year. I started just playing the washboard with them. And then on a couple of songs, I started playing harmonica as well. But on the harmonica, all the holes are numbered. Oh, go ahead and pick up your harmonica. And typically, right to left, you go from bottom, from lower nose, higher nose. So see if you're hold your harmonica so that the higher notes are on your right hand side. You both got it. By Jove, you've got it. And I don't know who designed, it was that Richard that designed it, but they were really ingenious the way they designed it. Hole number 4 is what the key of the instrument is, key or harmonica is. And most harmonica players play more than one note at a time. So they're actually playing chords with one note always being dominant so that you recognize what the tune is. Some players like to play just one note at a time. And if you want to play one note at a time, there's 2 ways to do it. One is to purse your lips like you're sucking on a straw and make a little. Go ahead and do that. And the other way is to make your tongue in the shape of the trouble with. If you just do that, when you want to change notes, you have to move the harmonica. Another way to do it is, can you curl your tongue in the shape of a U like this? To keep from having to move the harmonica, you can curl your tongue in the shape of a U and then move your tongue back and forth to make individual. Let's go ahead and try that. Like the good old tune taps. You probably recognize taps. And that's an unusual song because all the notes are blow notes. Most songs you go back and forth, and by going back and forth with some notes being a and some being a, what that does is that allows you to breathe. So if you blew all the time, you'd gasp and keel over. So by blowing, having some notes that are blow notes and some that are suction notes. I'm not saying that you're playing sucks or anything like that. If you want, you can try and play that tune taps. Blowing to hole number 4, you might have to search around to find it. Oh, I'm sorry. This is an unusual one. You start with the number 3 hole. And blow with the 3 hole twice. Then move up and do the 4 hole. Go ahead and both of you just try it for a couple times on your own. And then I'll play really slow and you just try to go along with me. Then you move up. So now you can play taps. So when your friend has a funeral, you can offer to play taps at their funeral for them. let's see. Uh, I'm very, very old. And when I was young, before TV and Game Boys and all this electronic stuff, in my family, music was 30% of our entertainment. Our activity was 30% music. We had an upright piano. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and four out of 7 of the family members was able to play the piano. And typically we would gather around the piano and somebody would play a song almost always by ear, just by knowing what the tune was, and we would all sing along. So that was a big part of our entertainment. And that was true with a lot of families. And then about in the 20s and 30s, recorded music started happening. They started making records, and people had record players. And people would hear a record playing, and they would hear a tune playing. And when they did the recording, they would do it as many times as necessary to get it perfect. So people got used to hearing all this perfect music on their records. And that continued on and on and on, an exponential curve getting even better and better and better. And pretty soon you had all this electronic reverb and electronic correction and stuff like that. And pretty soon, everybody heard music that was just perfect, and they thought, well, I can't be perfect, so I'm not even going to try to play music. So a lot of people quit playing music, and it died out. Then I'm not sure what time, maybe the 60s or the 70s, something like that. People were getting so much. There was so much tension in everybody's life from everything that was going on, and music is a good way to relax and administer therapy to yourself. So where people started getting into music, and a lot of people started learning how to play the ukulele because it's a very easy instrument to play, and a lot of people started learning to play the harmonica. So it started becoming popular again, and to this day, more music played people than they did say in the late 40s or the early 50s. Yeah. Let's see. Do you recognize that tune? I came from Alabama with the banjo on my knee, and you can play it either in single notes or you can play multiple holes at the same time. And to play multiple holes, you just make like you're kissing somebody and blow on 3 holes all at the same time. Go ahead and do that. So do that. And this will be blowing and this will be drawing. See? It's hard to do that at the same time. Anyway, go ahead and try that out a little bit. Go ahead and use 3 holes and just sing over it. So we'll do it really, really slow. And this will be out, and this will be. And then you move up. I'm up. go ahead and try that a few times. And like Dave, like I was taught by Dave Broder, just pick up the harmonica, find a tune you like, and then have the feel for that tune, and then just go ahead and play that tune. You can play most anything, except even in the key of C, there's some songs that have sharps and flats. And since you can't play sharps or flats, you have to use alternate notes or stay on the same note until you change again. I can't think of any offhand. I should have thought of some ahead of time, but I didn't. Then the bottom three notes, actually the bottom four notes, are mostly used for blues playing. Here at the library, playing the tune, don't know what I'm doing, but I'll learn soon. Your name is Robin, my name is Cliff, that's what we're doing. And you can just say whatever comes to your mind or do anything like that, and you can just play a few notes. And actually, the blues genre is a really strange genre of music, because you associate blues with a lot of feeling. Almost all blues players, blues singers, and anybody that does the blues, it's not always sad, it's not always painful, but it's always very emotional. But typically, the blues music as it's written is very, very structured. It's usually in the form of what they call a 12-bar blues. An example would be Kansas City. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. I got some crazy little women there. I'm going to get me one. So I'm going to 1, 2, 7, 2, diddy, here a 3, 4. I'm going to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's known as the 12-bar blues, and I have a handout that you can have. See. So before you leave, we can get 2 copies of that made. And it's one form of the 12-bar blues. And I'll have to read it, because I usually just play by feeling. So here's an example of 12 bars blues. What it is it's 4 of one, 2 of the next one, 2 of the next one, one more, and then finish with two more bars. Oh, right. It's hard for me to do it and follow it, but it gives you an example of what to do on how to do it. And then I have a few songs with the actual holes written, whether you blow or draw. for Back in the Saddle and Hey Jude and Moon River and Yellowbird, just as a few samples. Oh, forget about that one. And on these, what I did was I wrote the whole number, and if you see the whole number, then you blow, and if it's got a minus in front of it, then you draw. Here's an example of Moon River, if I can follow my own writing here. 3, 6. And then you recognize the tune. And I was using single notes, which you can do. Thing with single notes, if you're playing solo or with a group, it makes the tune extremely recognizable to people if it's a tune that many people know. But it's a little more difficult to do than playing just the chords. Much easier to play it with playing 3 notes at a time. Oh, and one thing you can do is, without moving your mouth, you can change. If you make your mouth really wide, you can cover about 6 notes at the same time like this. And then what you can do is, and you can blow 6 notes at the same time and block 3 of them with your tongue, and then move your tongue over to block the other 3, so you go, if you're blowing, you can either blow or draw both. So you can do multiple things without moving your harmonica around too much. So there's all kinds of things you can do. How are we doing for time? Oh, plenty of time, yeah. One thing that to really get a lot of feeling out of the harmonica, it's really helpful if you learn how to bend a note. And what happens is a harmonica makes a sound because when you blow or draw, there's a little reed that vibrates, and that's what makes the sound. And if you change the speed of the airflow, if you slow down the airflow, that reed will vibrate a little bit slower and actually be a little bit lower note. So take the notes around hole 4 and draw on it. Let's go ahead and do that. And then go like this. Just you got it. You need it. Yeah, you got it. I've taught harmonica class in California about 12.5 times, and there's usually about 20% of the class that absolutely cannot do that without a lot of effort trying. So you guys were really good because you did it on the first try. Let's see. And it's mostly, you can only do it on draw. You can do it a little bit on a blow, but it's really difficult to do. Because it's just hard to slow down. You hear it go down just a little bit. And again, what you do is you just purse your lips in, it slows down the airflow. Let's see, where shall we go from here? I used to be able to copy CDs, and I used to have I had a CD with 5 or 10 songs. I had 10 songs on the CD, played the ukulele all in the key C, and I would give it out to students, and then they could play the CD and then play along with the CD to learn how to play. See. Crawdad song. You get a line and I'll get a bowl, honey or baby. I don't know if you can you see my hands well enough to follow? Okay.
No.
Let's see, how can we do this?
I can just hear you and follow along.
Well, you just have to do it by the sound.
Yeah, so I can hear you.
Yeah. Go ahead and try that. Just try those few notes. Let's see. Maybe if I tap when I'm
Sure.
going and don't tap when I'm drawing. Does that help?
Sure.
Okay.
I can kind of hear when you're drawing and when you're
Okay.
going out. I can hear that for the most part.
Yeah. So anyway, generally, what my advice is, pick a couple of songs that you know or you like, and just learn to play them. And when you learn to play, start really, really slow. And if you make a few mistakes, just try not to repeat your mistakes too often. And don't beat yourself up if you make mistakes, because you're learning.
Tongue blocking, is it done with the front of the tongue or the side of the tongue?
What's that?
Tongue blocking?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
The
I was thinking. I'm not
Just-
telling you I know. I'm listening.
yeah, just block the holes that you don't want.
with the front, okay, the
Yeah.
front, okay.
That's what I do.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Let's
I'll
see.
practice that later.
Yeah.
Oh, and to make the instrument talk, just talk into the harmonica like, I want my baby. Just really exaggerate your lip movement. Try, I want my baby. And it works better on the higher notes. Say, I want. I want. Oh. And I don't know if you had the opportunity to play with a group or anything like that, if you do have an opportunity to play with a group, when you play the lower part of the harmonica, the lower frequencies have less energy, so it's harder for people to hear. if you play on the high end of the harmonica, it puts out more volume and people can hear it better. It's much more distinctive and people can hear you better. So let's see, we got bending notes and the blues. Oh yeah, let's do the train sound. It's just a just start real slow and then gradually speed up. And then for the whistle, go up to the higher portion of the harmonica and go. Let's see. Boom, boom. You get, see if you can play along with me too. You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line and I'll get a pole, baby. You get a line and I'll get a pole and we'll go down to the crawdad hole. Honey, obey mine. Were you able to do it a little bit?
Yeah.
Get a little feel for it? Yeah. Yeah, there was a harmonica, Bud Gardner led a harmonica group called the Harmonicoots. It was a gated retirement community. And he retired from a very dynamic business that he was in and had a lot of free time. So I thought, well, I'll take up what my father used to do in the harmonica. So they had a local newspaper, and he put an ad in the newspaper, in the local community newspaper, asking for other harmonica players, thinking he might get 1 or 2 responses. And he got 12 responses. So they started meeting and playing, but nobody led the group. Nobody volunteered to lead the group, so he volunteered to lead it. And then every year they would have an annual concert. And when they had the concert, they had a little stage and a little auditorium that was in the community. And they had about 18 to 20 players. And to start the concert, half of them would walk down one side of the aisle, the other half would walk down the other side, playing when the saints go marching in and then assemble on stage. And then every year they would hire a well-known harmonica player to come and play at their concert when they had their annual concert. Can't remember his name. There was a Japanese player that was really good, and they would have him come and play sometimes. Yellow bird. Sometimes I have to search around, and what happens is the more you play, then you'll get better. You start to get a feel for it. Every Friday at the train depot, there's a jam. It's an open music jam, and anybody can come, anybody can play, anybody can listen. So I've been going to that sometimes, and they get anywhere between 4 to 8 or 10 players. Only trouble is very few of the songs are in C. So about 50% of the songs are in G. G, D, and A are the three favorite. Seems to me the three favorite keys. So if you want to actually play with them, then get some more harmonicas. But you can always come and listen. Oh, there's one thing. There's a thing called cross harmonica. You can use the C harmonica or any harmonica for different keys, but I've never learned how to do it. Let's see. And another thing about the music jam, you can do something simple like if you can find a washboard, you can come and play with the washboard. Or you can get or get a shaker, get a plastic pill, a large plastic pill body, and put some dried peas in it and use it as a shaker. You can use it as a shaker. So there's a lot of ways you can play along and just be part of the group. I play with them. Over 80% of the songs they play are bluegrass, and 80%, at least half the songs I don't know. But I play along either with the washboard or the harmonica. Then when it comes time, what they do is they take turns leading songs, and when they take turns leading a song, then I'll start the song with my ukulele, and then after everybody else starts pitching in, then I'll add in their harmonica or something. So anyway, it's a fun event. They play from they're scheduled to play from 4 to 7, but it's usually about 5 to 7 or 7:30. And it's every Friday night, and it's free. So either come and listen or come and play.
I stumbled into you guys 2 weeks ago. And
any
you're at the,
questions?
it was like 9.
Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
I was saying I stumbled into you guys out there playing 2 weeks ago, and you guys were out there past 9.
Yeah,
I wasn't complaining. I was out there enjoying ice cream. So
yeah. It's a lot of fun, and typically jams are very, 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 very forgiving groups. You don't have to be an expert player to join in the jam. There's one fellow that has been coming. He plays the banjo, and typically a jam will be in generally shaped like a circle, and one person will call out a song. They'll all do it, and then they'll rotate clockwise or counterclockwise to name a tune. And when it's your turn, then you name what tune that you want to play, and everybody comes along with it. And there's one younger fellow that was there, played the banjo. He always skipped his turn. So I gave him some free advice. I says, get 3 songs that you really like and learn how to play them, and then when it's your turn, just start out the song, and everybody will join in. Because people are really, really forgiving, and they're very kind. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, you're playing crummy." They won't. That kind of thing won't happen there.
Good deal. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah,
yeah, it's awesome. I learned a lot.
good.
There's little things I didn't know how to do. Like we were talking about the tongue, which you had mentioned. I'd never thought of that.
Yeah,
I've been doing all my notes as single notes, because that's what my goal is, to hear like the pure sounding notes.
yeah,
So then when I've been doing, and I've been playing mostly by ear, obviously, but just been trying to figure that same concept out of what you're talking about. So I learned a lot of different things today.
yeah. And like I say, the more you play it, you start to get. It starts to become almost automatic, where when you get the tune in your head, and then you're able to follow. Another thing you can do is, if you can find a radio station with some reasonable tunes on it, you can tune to a radio station and play along with the radio. Again, a lot of the key is C is not, it's called the people's key because it's all the white keys on the piano,
Mhm.
but it's not the most common key.
One thing you brought up that I'd never thought of before was the concept that as the records came out and people were listening to it, how everybody wanted to be perfect.
Yeah,
And they
yeah, that's happening.
and we became less and less forgiving of mistakes.
Yeah,
I'd not thought of that before, but it's an
Yeah.
interesting philosophy or thought process.
yeah, like I say, I grew up a lot of people played, a lot of people were musical, and then in the late 40s, early mid-50s and so forth, there was so much good recorded music around. People were shy or a little bit reluctant to play on their own because I can't play that good, why should I even try? And the other thing is, is in this day and age, is instant gratification. If you can't learn to do something in 20 minutes, then you're gonna, why even try? And to learn to play a musical instrument, it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but it's wonderful therapy. It's hard to remember all the political problems or the geopolitical problems or the economy or everything that's going on if you're, hey, I'm good with just the music. Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
thank you for coming.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.